Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. Welcome to my channel, all my subscribers, all my future subscribers, all my, hey, let's check this dude out cats, all my scallywags, my triggers, my peaches, my haters. Welcome, one and all. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, share, and like. You know, today is Mother's Day. And so I thought maybe, I've been asking Mia, what does she want for Mother's Day? And she never can say anything. So I said, I know, I will have you on my channel. So this is my Mother's Day gift to Mia to be on my channel. You know, Mother's Day is always a special day. First of all, we want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. And those of you who are like myself, who no longer have a mother, I hope you take some time today to reflect just how special she was in your life, and you know, and just take a moment to give thanks for bringing you into this world. Okay, so right now we're at our night spot, 7-Eleven. You know, we decided to come out. We normally don't come out anymore because some things going on, but you know, tonight was Mother's Day, so I decided to take a Sun Space special. You know, it's funny because, you know, I told you in a couple of videos that something is transpiring, and I'm gonna let you in on it, you know, later on in the month. But that's also a part of it is because lack of social life. So once we're able to make the transition that we're planning, then we will you will see more of what I'm talking about. So other than that, things are kind of going very well. Mia, how about you? How you selling the puppies?
Huh?
You want to say hello? Wish happy Mother's Day to your mother. So you want to give your mother a special shout out or something?
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I hope you enjoyed it.
My God. You know, she's so talkative, right? You know, it's funny. We were in Dumaguete, and I met a friend of mine who I... Yes, that's right. Hell is not full yet. You got a lot of cats out here driving like fools. But anyway, we went to Dumaguete, and I ran into a friend of mine who I used to play tennis with. And it just so happens that he has a pet store. So we talk about the possibilities of putting puppies in his pet store in Dumaguete. Hopefully that will come about. We can put them there and possibly sell them. Because right now they're getting at the age where they got to go. So don't forget, we're selling German Shepherds, and we have a couple of retrievers in case you're interested in. Hit us up. Let me see what else been going on with our life, Mia. I'll tell you a Mother's Day story. Let me see. Now, you know, when here in the Philippines, I don't know how celebrated Mother's Day is, because, you know, for some reason I don't get the idea that there is a lot of, you know, celebration behind it. But my mother, you know, who I spoke to you about before. But when I was in California and I was going through my trials and tribulations, and I needed money because I spent all my rent money, you know, and the mother of my kids, my two daughters, Gianna and Janelle, you know, I needed money. And so I called my mother, and I asked her, could she help me? And she said, no, she can't. You know, she said she can't, you know. She had helped me a lot, and she said she just couldn't. And so, but she did. She ended up sending the money. Now, it wasn't until years later Now, my mother used to drink. She used to drink a lot. She used to be a stone cold alcoholic. And she told me that when I asked her for that money and she didn't have it, she prayed to God that if she were able to send the money, she would stop drinking. And sure enough, my mother stopped drinking. And so if they say nothing ever comes out of stopping drinking, I know that's one good thing that did, that my mother stopped, and so I was very happy for her. Now, when I got out of my situation, and I went home and I sat down with my mother and I told her, I said, Mom, you know what? I said, all my life, I feel that you didn't like me. Don't get me wrong. I know you would do anything for me, and you have in the past, come to my aid time and time again. But for some reason, I just felt that you didn't like me. I said, you don't have to answer that question, but I just wanted to let you know how you made me feel all my life, Mom. So anyway, my mother ended up having cancer. And she was very proud of the fact that when I came out of a prison, that I didn't go back to my old behaviors. I started doing a lot for the community, started doing a lot for the kids. I started taking pictures again, and I was doing a lot of positive things. So she was very proud of me. And how do I know that she was proud of me? Was because she had jury duty. And she got excused from jury because she found out that the person she was going to sitting in judgment on was a Muslim. And at that time, I was a Muslim. And she had excused herself because she said that she could not sit there and pass judgment, like I said, because she knew what the religion had done for me. It had helped me get my life together. So to me, that was the only reason she ever acknowledged or ever giving me any kind of credit or saying anything positive about my life, about what I was doing, was the story that she had excused herself from jury duty. Now, as my mother was getting sicker and sicker, and eventually dying, it wasn't until the reading of the will. Now, mind you, remember, my mother owned a $300,000 home that was paid for. She had land, she had insurance policies, she had a lot of stuff that she accumulated over the years, And so, at the reading of the will, in her will, and I never forget this. She said, for reasons only be known to me, I leave my son Gerard nothing. And it was almost like for reasons only be known to her. Now, so I've sat and I tried to think about why she would do that. Now, the funny thing is that when I found out, when I was 18, I found out that my father was not my father, and I ended up meeting my father. And so when I did, I became obsessed of knowing about my mother, everything I wanted to know about her. And he was more than happy to tell me everything about my mother, from how he met her. He ended up, he ended up dating my mother. My mother was a street entertainer, and that's how he ended up dating her. And he fell madly in love with her, and he was a photographer. And it's funny, because sometimes he would get drunk, and he would come to me, his face right here, and said, I love your mother. and he would do it with such intensity that it was like this. But then later on in my life, I realized that having that kind of love for a woman was special, man. I mean, she didn't really care about him or anything like that, But the fact that I know the passion behind loving a woman can be very, very strong and very, very great. So I was only thing I can think is that she really resented the fact that I've learned so much about her, and I learned some of the things that she did, and some things that maybe she would have preferred to kept secret, So anyway, that's my. I don't know if that's a happy Mother's Day story or not, but other than that, I don't remember much about my mother. I remember about her, but everything was peaches and cream after that, because when she got clean, she ended up getting a job at JCPenney's, as a sales girl, and then she later on became a security guard, and later on she became, like a undercover, undercover officer in the department store. So my mother really, really did accomplish a lot in her life that made me proud of her, of who she was. So for those of you who still have your mother around, cherish her, man, And I hope today you do something nice for her, something special for her, because at this point in my life, it's funny because this song just came on. It's called "A Gift." It's in Filipino, or Bisaya, or Tagalog. But do something nice. Give a nice gift to your mother. I don't know if we're gonna be able to broadcast this be monetized, but it's okay. It's okay. So wherever you are, Mom, I want you to know that in this moment in time, I'm thinking about you. I love you, and thank you all what you've done for me and my daughters, and with that, you're watching Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect others, always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see your vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. We're living good today, Mia? Yeah. And we hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of The Temptation, once said, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, never say no and make her feel like a king. And with that, Mia, happy Mother's Day. Okay? We will always love you more. I'll talk to you later. Peace. Okay, as I'm getting ready to leave, we got these brothers here. And this is customary for them to offer me a shot. So, thank you, my brothers. How are you? So, what's your name?
Romero.
This is Robert, and what's yours?
Junte Ganasan.
Junting Elalan. What's yours? Jamel.
RR.
How you guys? You guys celebrating Mother's Day? Yeah.
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Onyx. Onyx, yeah. I am Onyx. Yeah, I'm from the United States. I've been here for about 5 years. And
That was your wife?
yeah, we just got married in September.
Congrats.
Thank you. Very wampa, huh? Wampa.
Guapa.
Oh, guapa.
Where do you live now?
I live down here by near
Tandayag.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice place. Yeah. Okay, my friends, we will see you. Okay.
One more. Better luck next time. One more.
No. No, you got.
Last shot.
How can I refuse?
Better luck next time.
Okay, better luck next time. I don't know. I think I'm having good luck tonight. You guys got enough beer?
Oh, okay.
You okay? Okay, good. Okay, I see you. That's what it's like in the Philippines. Filipino people are um, so friendly. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I want to put this in here. This might be the only time, I'm able to get an opportunity to truly talk about my mother. She deserves more than my just glancing over the few topics I did that may not have appeared to see her in the best light. My mother she was a cleaning lady. She used to work at NBC building in Manhattan, in New York City during the daytime. But at nighttime, she was one of the most sought after hostess in the New York club scene, in the underground scene. A party wasn't happening unless she was there. She was known as the hostess with the mostest. And I mentioned to you once before that we had a lot of celebrities come by our house when we lived on 75th between Amsterdam and Columbus. Often at the time, they would come by, see my mother after hours, and etc. And my father, as you can see him here, he was, my father, I guess we probably could have called him to be a nerd. He really wasn't a hustler or anything like that. He worked at the post office. He was very into electronics. His friend, well, you see him in here with his friend Robert. Robert worked for the railroad. And everybody know those brothers coming up from the south on the railroads. They were go getters. I mean, they were straight up hustlers. In fact, I told him about the time that even to the day he died, he always carried a little packet of cocaine in his pocket, in his wallet, because he said he never know when he might get lucky. So he was one who introduced my my mother to my father, and and I explained the situation. It was a business arrangement. But anyway, my mother ended up getting pregnant, and then because of that pregnancy, she could not name me after the father. So what she named me was the guy's name who introduced her to him. So I am named after the guy who introduced my mother to, who ended up dating with her, who got her pregnant. Are you following along? I'm kidding. He's doing all this. Okay. But anyway, so that's the story of that. Now, when I spoke about the time when I needed help in California as far as money and all that stuff is concerned, this was during that time. As you can see, my mother here. She's holding my two daughters at Christmas, and you can still see she's a very lovely woman. And these are my two kids here. You can also see from this next picture here that that's my brother holding my daughter. And this next picture here, you can see this is my father, and you can tell that well, he's doing what he loves to do most of all, and that's drink. That's all they did during that time was drinking. But I love that painting behind him. The painting behind him was awesome. Yeah. And this next shot here is a picture of my my brother, my mother, and my youngest daughter, my number two, Janelle, arriving at the airport. And you can still see she kind of holding it together there. This next shot you'll see my mother. This was back in 1963. So you can see her, right here. Everything's going to be right here over my shoulder. You can see her back here in 63. She is with her third son, who later died in a fire in 64, the following year, as a matter of fact. And he was the actual child of the man my mother married, baby. She had two others out of wedlock, myself, my younger brother, and my older brother, who his father was my mother's gynecologist, who later, decided to choose to live as white because that's how he was. And the gynecologist promised to make him a doctor. and he did. He became a doctor. I still have the newspaper. When he got his doctorate degree, he used a different last name. I got all that stuff. I got receipts, you know. So as I spoke about, you know, my um, my mother ultimately having cancer. This is a shot of her here in the hospital when she was having treatment, and then it came to a point where her hair had to be cut, and I was the one who cut her hair off and to make a bald. So I wanted to I wanted to give more substance about my mother because my mother was you know you know my mother, she did what she had to do, to keep it together. You know, it wasn't always easy for her. You know, based upon the choices that she was making as far as men were concerned. But being young, that's really not your place to say. You can't say, "Yo, mom, that's not the one." All you can do is just be around to pick up the pieces, and there was a lot of pieces to pick up. So anyway, I wanted to put this in here just to kind of give you more of an idea how special and I adored my mother. I adored her mostly because I knew that she was someone who, when she went out of town, she was always identified as one of the best dressed people in the place. She was a head turner. I mean, and the men that flocked to her were unbelievable. She would often bring maybe one of them home or something like this, and she'd be intoxicated. And when she'd wake up, she'd see him beside him, and she'd be pounding him over the head with the empty vodka bottle. Get out, get out, like that. Blood everywhere. My brother and I done robbed them. With them taking stuff out of their pockets, all that stuff. So it was kind of a crazy time. But my most proudest moment was when she stopped drinking, and it was due to me. I take responsibility for that, and it. She lived a very, very wholesome life after that. So when you heard the expression that you can never turn a hoe into a housewife, I disagree. I did it personally, and my mother was. My stepfather did to her by buying her home out in Long Island, and she became a gardener, and et cetera. She had the biggest crop of marijuana on Long Island, you might say, but that's the thing that she did. And so, I just wanted to throw this in here, because I wanted to give a little bit more recognition to my mother, and letting her know, through the spirits that be, that I love you and thank you for all you've done. Now, this next shot here is kind of a shot. I told you she worked at J.C. Penney's, so you can kind of see this shot here, and you can see that she was. My mother was hot shit. I mean, let me tell you. And this shot here is the shot of my daughters who. I made a commitment to have them come to New York every year, every other Christmas, to see their New York family. They'll get to know their grandmother, and this was the last time they were going to see her. So they were on their way to the airport now, and so they had to say goodbye to her because she was going to die soon after that, and she did. So, see if there's anything else I missed out of here. Are these pictures that I picked out here that I wanted to show you? No, I think that's it. This is a picture of my brother, my oldest daughter, Gianna, who goes by Gia Goodrich. You may check her out on her YouTube channel called Gia Goodrich, and she gives out terrific amount of knowledge about making blogs. She's a photographer, and she gives a lot of good information. So that's her there. So anyway, again, I want to thank you for indulging me to allow me to speak about my mother. After all, this is Mother's Day, and there's no other. I know a story I wanted to tell you. this was like in the late '60s or something like this, and and I was having girlfriends and like this or whatever. And I had this beautiful blonde girl. Her name was Star. I'll never forget Star. And so Star was over my house one day. She was hanging out. And my mother came in. What is she doing here? And she grabbed the broom and actually beat her out of the apartment. Get out, get out. Squatting her like a fly. My mother never liked any of my girlfriends. Just never, she just didn't like any of them. I mean, none of them. The only one that she liked was the mother of her grandkids, Diana. And that's the one that, that she grew the closest to. I remember when Star and I walked out, we went by Central Park, and we were sitting on the bench right there, and we were eating Twinkies. And she told me to put the Twinkie in her mouth, and I put the Twinkie in her mouth. I put the whole Twinkie. I don't know if you know about Twinkies. Twinkies about like in her whole mouth, and then she took it all out without breaking it. And I said, well, "Damn," you know what I'm saying? But Star wanted me to move to California with her, the runway to California with her, and it just wasn't in my blood. I just didn't have the soul at that time to be able to feel that I would have been able to manage on my own or the game or anything like that. So, but anyway, I wanted to share that story with you. My mother never liked any of the girlfriends I've had. And I've had some good ones. Okay, so this is Gerard. Remember dreams and nothing more than plans and wedding action. Never disrespect the elder. Always pull someone up. And sometimes you be the only one to see your vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of the Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, make him feel like a king. And those of you who are blessed enough to have a mother, make a commitment today, to call her, to take a moment and say a prayer for her, and just regardless of what happened throughout your life or how things went your way or didn't go your way, she will always be your mother. And I'm sure there were some good times in your life that you can say, "Mom, I'm glad you had me." I remember 18, my mother was beating me with an electric cord, like just, and on my 18th birthday, and I told her, "Mom, that's the last time. That's the last time you whooping my ass. I don't even know what it was for, but all I know is that was the last time that she was ever going to do that." She never did it again. I guess because that day I became a man. I'll talk to you later. I'll always love you more. Peace. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.